Due to the graphic nature of its content, listener discretion is advised.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for...
On this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Sebastian, Bennett, and Mike sit down to talk shop on the upcoming release of the 5-paragraph business plan, which I am proud to say is my spearhead, my initiative. Hey, I have something to offer the world aside from just stupid one-liners and terrible jokes. So, I'm proud to announce the fact that the 5-paragraph business plan is coming up. You, the listener, is going to be able to view the templates online, download those for yourself as PDFs off of our website. I'm also going to be doing videos on there, and the long and short of it is how the 5-paragraph order process, married up with modern-day business planning, can be essentially bridged for entrepreneurs who are coming out of service. So if you're a trigger puller down on the front line and you're leaving the Marine Corps like in 3 months and are looking to go into entrepreneurship, go ahead and use the 5-paragraph op order process that you already know and love, and apply these templates to it, and you should be successful. So at least that's the plan. I mean, we've been talking about this a little bit internally now for the better part of the past
year.
Oh God, year. Yeah. you guys are like, years. It's been a long time. Mike, we're sick of hearing it. So but yeah, man, I mean, it's cool that we finally have the ability to sit down and really go through this stuff and take the 5-paragraph order process. And it's not like I did anything new here. It's taking two pre-existing things and being able to marry it up so that there is some sort of bridge in between transitioning out of the military and going into entrepreneurship. And the reason why I'm very passionate about this, from my own personal viewpoint, without getting on a soapbox, is I want to see 51% of returning veterans go into entrepreneurship. Right now, that number is 25's interested, 6% actually go into it. We've talked about it before. Post-World War II numbers, 49% went into entrepreneurship. And I really believe that our generation, not just in GWAT and stuff like that, but because it's not our generation. It's not the GWAT generation. It's across the generations. Anybody who has got that veteran background has learned how to be, yes, part of something that is larger than themselves, but also they learn the planning mechanisms of the enterprise that is the U.S. military. And they do a great job at coordinating global operations and executing plans across the globe, right? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've been doing this for a long time here. So it's just marrying up those two ideas. That's all that it boils down to.
And how did, not to turn into the interviewer here, but what is the brainchild? Where's the start point of all this?
Sure, yeah. Well, what it boils down to is my first business, when I was trying to figure out where to go, I just, honestly, I didn't know where to start. So it was like, all right, start talking to people about entrepreneurship. I was studying it in school, thought that was the route to go. Like, oh yeah, I want to learn business, so I'm going to go into business school. Sure, that's one route, but I also needed additional training. And so I was seeking out different mentors. And in getting into the weeds and the details on my first company's business plan, I kept hearing a common thread from a lot of the mentors who I was seeking out, who were fellow veterans, of a older generation, who were looking to help us out as entrepreneurs because they had already succeeded in business. And the common thread that I kept picking up on is, well, you were a patrol leader, why don't you just write a 5-paragraph order? Write a 5-paragraph order, that's it. And so I started doing that and implementing it, and then I went to Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans, where I met Bennett here and Tim, and things really started to fall into place, because what I needed to realize was there needed to be an interpretation of where business fits into a 5-paragraph order. And when I figured out that enemy is not competition, but much rather your industry, your market, your need that must be addressed. So the problem, essentially, the enemy is the problem that you are providing a product, a service, you're fulfilling a need on. So once I realized that, it all clicked into place, and then I could sit down and really start attacking the actual 5-paragraph order of it, using a lot of the stuff like nuts and bolts of a great business plan coming out of the Institute of Veteran Military and Families as kind of like an overlay for some context. And then it was kind of off to the races on it. And it's an operational business planning model. It is not necessarily meant for walking into an investor pitch. This is for operations in between veterans who are collaborating, or in between entrepreneurs as a whole, team members as a whole. If you're not an entrepreneur and you're a manager or something along those lines, please, by all means, use it in your professional work. And if the templates do work or don't work, I'm sure that they will work. Just get back to me with the feedback. So I don't know if that was the story that you were looking for, brother.
If they don't work, we'll modify them.
Right.
It's also worth mentioning that even investors, we've been told by other guys having used a 5-paragraph order as a business plan, even investors have been strikingly impressed by it.
Yes. Yeah. No. That is a good point. We've had
especially if they're veterans.
Absolutely.
Because you're speaking their language. And
yes. Yeah, and there are a lot of family houses out there, as far as investment firms, or even, like angel investment firms that are out there that invest in veteran startups and stuff. And they definitely appreciate the use of the order. There have been a few other guys out there, and we'll get written testimonial and all of that other fun stuff coming up here. But there have been other guys who are out there who got out of the military and were like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm an entrepreneur. I know that I want to create a business plan. I don't know what to do, so they just wrote a 5-paragraph order. And it's not the same translation or whatever interpretation of business processes. I took that out of the individual segments of a series of business plans, so to speak. So I took a hot washed series of civilian style business plans, and then I took the 5-paragraph order process and the business dialogue, where it fit in heading wise, was then put into the 5-paragraph order process, along with the baseline bullet points where they would fit within the order, in order to get you going in the right direction, so that you can articulate what it is you're looking to achieve with that actual business or nonprofit, for that matter. And then we've got to get the templates out there. And the reason why I'm coming forward with a lot of this stuff is because I'm talking to the veteran community, and we're always preaching about how we want to get entrepreneurs out there. So to add context to our content, why am I always preaching entrepreneurship, but not just that, entrepreneurship also? Managers getting out there and saying, hey, we want to take this, this route. Can we kick a small unit leadership style thing? Which it's very plausible. Business leaders for a long time have said, I wish that there were more entrepreneurs who are willing to take my large enterprise in other directions and willing to take that risk from the inside to run these new different components. The 5-paragraph business plan works in that aspect also. So these templates are free of charge. as well as the videos that'll be coming up here, are all free of charge. I welcome you to watch them, multiple times over. Watch it all the way through. They're going to be very short. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about like tops like 5 minutes in order to get through this material. So it's going to be short, but it's going to be fast, so to speak. Just trying to get all that material out there for you guys, and then how this can potentially, it's something that I stumbled across and then was like, oh, this fits here, this fits here, this fits here. Hey, check out this pattern that I got. I mean, it's not, in my opinion, and being the creator or the author of all of this stuff, it's not this revolutionary thing so much as it just sheds light on what we already know, and then it just kind of like throws a business veil to it so that our fellow veterpreneurs can go out there and just, do what we do. It's less intimidating that way. That's it. That's basically what it boils down to.
Right, and then with all that information, you can frame it up into a more traditional business model as well, because it does cover all 360 degrees of whatever could come at you. So,
yeah. I mean, that's what you're going for in an op order. I've relied on the 5-paragraph order, and I know you guys have as well, to get me outside the wire and back safely on countless patrols. Countless. I mean, whether that be, the private who's sitting there cross-legged in the hooch, jotting down notes, or the sergeant giving an operations order, to a team of guys who are trusting me that, I understand at bare minimum how to plan and how to get this thing moving in the right direction. They know that I understand how to delegate the different jobs, tasks, what have you, live up to the conditions and standards that are being met, But really, I mean, what it boils down to is, can you write a 5-paragraph order? Can you lead guys outside the wire? Do they have faith, and confidence in your leadership capabilities that you're going to bring them home safely? And then once you've done that, I mean, that's the test right there, right? Yeah, I mean, you guys are in the same team as I am. I don't think that it feels like going outside the wire when we go into a business networking, event.
No, not at all.
I'm not worried that I'm going to lose my legs. Like if I go and start talking or chatting up with a CEO of like a multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar company, that doesn't get the heart pumping the way that going outside the wire on patrol does.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you and I have talked about and met multiple times. I mean, some of us have debriefed generals and stuff like that. Like, we're standing up in front of, serious brass and people with serious juice. I'm sorry, but some CEO doesn't really intimidate me.
Right.
The same way.
Right. My wife.
Or I'm just saying it's the same type of thing. It's the same thing that you're talking about, just the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, and the reason why we get bent out of shape or anxious about any of that stuff is because it's our baby. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, this is my baby. 5-paragraph business plan's my baby. If you hate it,
if I told you it was shit,
yeah,
and just railed it, you'd be like, okay, well, why?
Exactly. I mean, it would sting a little bit. We have been talking about this for a while now. I would be like, hey, Bennett, what the fuck? Hello.
What the fuck, dude? You said you loved it like a month ago.
We've gone through several iterations on it.
I know, slightly. I've only written a couple business plans with it, so,
Oh, that's so cool. That's the best part about this is, if anybody's ever hesitant as to whether or not, this works, we have people that are writing business plans on this.
It's at the very least, it's a tool to help you figure out in a military strategy type of way, which especially as like infantry or anyone that's done an op order gets it. So at the end of the day, that's all you're doing when you're preparing to go do battle on the business front. You know, you just write out an op order, a 5-paragraph order on what you're going to do, and at least you have a direction to go. It's almost like writing an outline for a paper or an essay. It's the same type of thing, except for it is more than that. But it's the same type of thing. At the very least, you can use it as a prep for an actual business plan.
Right.
That somebody might want to see. Meaning, just like we had talked about earlier, not everyone's going to get it. So if you're going to pitch investors, they may be like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? You know what I mean? But so that's why I'm saying, you know, it's just a tool to help you get there. That's it.
Well, exactly. And one of the biggest things that you need to tackle when you're doing business creation is market research in general. And so market research is a very difficult thing, you know, in case you're a novice entrepreneur. I mean, I struggle with it all the time because you're constantly trying to hone in on what your audience looks like, which might be different from the person that you're talking to in the show because you're trying to hit a niche, which might be different from what, you know, all of your original assumptions are. And so you got to throw it all out and then you've got to pivot. So one of the other major reasons why the 5-paragraph business plan works is because we analyze the enemy. And the enemy in the 5-paragraph business plan is the industry or the marketplace. Okay, so it's not your customer by any means. It's the market that's out there, the demand, the need, the problem. So the reason why I'm emphasizing this or re-emphasizing it is because we do like MET-T, TSL, right? Mission, enemy, terrain and weather, troops and support, time, space, logistics. We go over that and analyze it, and then that gets plugged into the 5 paragraphs. So that's one of the templates that's on there. You know, shit happens when you're on patrol and you got to pivot. Well, now it's time to kick a frago because you've got a new situation. Dude, let me tell you right now, if you haven't already experienced it before, if you pitch a product and you go in and it bombs, I mean, like it fucking tanks, you do awful. People hate it. Whatever the feedback is, whatever the notes are, immediately you have the ability to turn around and write a new frago because your situation has changed. The look of your enemy might have changed. All of those other different things, the baseline elements and the reasons why you would kick a frago when you're in country downrange are the same reasons in business. And the template carries over exactly because you're constantly trying to address the need. That is your market research. You're always analyzing what the enemy's TTPs are. You're always looking around at the, you know, baseline sit rep or the baseline atmospherics that are going on with your civilian population. You need to be able to determine who is your customer and who is not amongst a whole population of civilians. So you have to find an unidentifiable, plain clothes, everyday, regular, nothing out of the ordinary consumer out of a crowd. That sounds eerily familiar to what we had to deal with, especially in Ramadi. So being able to analyze the enemy or the problem that you're looking to be able to address is paramount. And that
and Murphy still exists in the civilian world,
right?
He'll kick you in the nuts every time.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. So, how to write a warning order for business is in there. Gone through a template on that in order to get the gears turning on different stuff. You know, big events that are coming up, large projects, things of that nature. And then use that as a springboard to go further in depth, or like when you get into coordinating instructions under like execution and stuff like that, that's where your project managers come in, and they have an even more in-depth, so to speak, order that they have the ability to use, which we have project managers who have used this to write business plans and I've got one guy who right now is going through getting a project manager certification, and he's going to give us some testimonials. So the idea is that you can use it in the different layers of wherever you lie within corporate America, or if you're an entrepreneur. If you're going to a networking event, you know, who's going to the networking event? Why are you going there? What is the target? Kick a quick frago. Which sounds really cheesy, but what's cool about it is this is the real reason why I wrote the whole thing, okay? Dan Spangler and I were talking about this. This is like the last straw. Dan Spangler of Operation Keep Your Spanky, hashtag Keep Your Spanky, he and I planned out his trip, Operation Keep Your Spanky, and I said, let's write a 5-paragraph order on this. He had already written a letter of intent because he had done that satirically for like Marine Corps birthday balls or for one of his buddies' weddings. They were doing a bachelor party, and so he wrote an LOI satirically. Well, I remember when we were in 3-7, Juslin, remember how he had to do fucking car washes?
Yep. Right?
For Marine Corps birthday ball tickets, it's mandatory, but you've got to buy a fucking ticket. So, it's what it is. Is what it is. Nature of the beast, as we say. But we, in order to plan that thing, we just kind of were like, well, fuck it. We already know this. So we wrote a satirical 5-paragraph order. You know, so it's like you're picking up on the patterns coming in from the mentors who are saying, write a 5-paragraph order. You're picking up on the stories and testimonials of guys who have used 5-paragraph orders successfully to rope in investors and exit their companies, as well as guys who, you know, guys and gals who are writing 5-paragraph orders in order to maintain overall operations, you know, on their company or within their company. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. So, I mean, that's it. That's why I'm casting the light on it the way that I am. So, like I said, I've been working hard on the templates themselves and on the videos. I will expound on it, you know, as I go. I hope other veterans take this. I mean, they're free. I hope that you take the templates and use the templates in business creation. If you're trying to figure out where the fuck I was coming from with some of this shit, by all means, get in touch with us. You know, get in touch with me. You know, these guys understand it too. Juslin, Bennett, Tim understands what the hell we're talking about here. I mean, like, this is an internal thing that we're already doing. So why not bring it to all of you guys, you know, as an offering? And it's like, well, we're talking about entrepreneurship all the time. We're talking about adding value all the time, you know, doing all of this other stuff. And it's an offering that I've been kind of like, you know, it's been under my hat and I've been mulling around and working on and stuff. And so now I'm glad to bring it out there. So yeah. I don't know. I hope people dig it, man. Not people. I hope veterans dig it.
Cigars and Sea Stories is proud to support and sling Counter-Strike Coffee. Counter-Strike Coffee, I want you to know, is meant to be drink black. Now, I myself love coffee. I'm a big coffee drinker. I went away from black coffee for a little while. Needed the cream and sugar when I was rocking it with the generic blend. Counter-Strike Coffee brought me back into the fold in a huge, huge way. They do a great dark roast. I'm a big fan of napalm. That's my fave. Smooth operator is good, though. It can go with cakes and pies, and I got a bit of a sweet tooth. I know a couple of us do, you know. And then also Firewatch. I mean, Firewatch, that's going to be the kick in the ass that you need in order to get your day going the right way. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't already done so, check out counterstrikecoffee.com. Use promo code Cigars and Sea. You will get 10% off. Again, that's counterstrikecoffee.com. Use promo code Cigars and Sea to get yourself 10% off.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I mean, to directly translate it takes some effort. To go through and actually make it work from the military style planning to the civilian sector. I mean, that takes some legwork, and so Mike has actually done that for everybody so that they don't have to.
No, and I appreciate that. You know, I know a lot of other people out there, they're probably thinking, hey, I could probably replicate that, and I want them to. Like, I legitimately, honestly want anybody to replicate it. I just, I wanted to highlight what we already have, and I truly, honestly hope that it empowers others to go out and create businesses and function in business planning or in management or what have you with this translation, you know, or with this business dialogue thrown into it, you know, and the working knowledge that we possess as entrepreneurs, you know. So when you marry the two things up, I feel that it'll click. And I'm really anxious to receive feedback from the listeners on how they used it, how it might work in their daily life, even if it's not for business. So are you guys familiar with goal nest? Do you know what goal nest is? Let's shift gears a little bit here, off of the 5-paragraph business plan. Do you know what goal nest is? Anybody? No? Okay, so it's the Marine Corps, and maybe it's different now. I don't know. I've been out of practice as far as the Marine Corps is concerned for a little while now, but goal nest, the gain attention, overview, learning objectives, method and media, evaluation, safety cease training, and transition. There's also an administrative notes in there between E and S. But that has been the standardized method or framework or template to go off of for giving a period of instruction in the Marine Corps for a while now. And it used to be that an instructor would be anchored somewhere at a podium or at the front of the class. That's why we got School Circle. That was like one of the original reasons, was because we had School Circle and turn charts. And that's all that we had, you know. I mean, like, fuck, man, that's how I learned marksmanship on Edson Range. They're probably still teaching like that right now.
Well, they have to, because someone has to say, turn my turn charts.
Turn my turn chart. Exactly. Give me a demonstrator right now. So when we train lieutenants, because they're high-speed, low-drag over at the basic school, they have, you know, like Megatrons and LEDs in the back and all sorts of high-speed, low-drag stuff. Yeah, they got, Jumbotron, They've got
Megatrons. They don't have Transformers running around there, buddy.
Right, exactly.
Not yet.
Man. That would
not yet, right, not yet.
That would make Banyan Hall way more interesting than it already is. Because they have fucking Taco Bell in there and like a bunch of other shit. And I used to give the lieutenants so much shit for being in there. And then you go and you see their barracks rooms and they're like 12 to a room. You're like, nope, never mind. You can have fast food. I'm not living like that. It's worse than being on ship. It's worse than being on ship because they can walk through a bog. You know, you can't walk through a bog while you're on ship. They can walk through a bog and then bring it back to their barracks room. And it's like, oh, fuck, man. Just a dozen dudes in there. Anyway, the thing is, what I got used to doing as far as an instructor billet was concerned was working a classroom or an auditorium with media and having to transition in between that and demonstrators. So you need to have a different framework of how the class is going to look. So you use goal nest and then you use EDIP. EDIP is primarily used for anything that has a practical application skill. So like if you're going to teach Marine Corps martial arts programs, a prime example, EDIP is explain, demonstrate, imitate, and practically apply it. Explain, demonstrate, imitate, practical application. You know, and somebody out there right now is rolling their eyes, but just break it down real quick. Isn't Isn't that perfect? Couldn't you use that to teach kids anything? You explain, you know what I mean? Like, you're explaining to them, like, well, with Liam, I tell Liam, I say, take the screw like this. You're going to turn to the right. So you're demonstrating. And then he does it, you know, and then he does it alone, essentially. Like, you walk through the steps together and he imitates you. And then afterwards, he just knows how it works and he practically applies it. And then that's it. Like, that's the end of that little hip pocket class. We do that already. It's just that's a process that's been identified.
Right.
So it's like play cards. That's the way that I view it. What's the play card that I can use for this problem? And if you have a play card or another SOP and then some lessons learned that are associated with that, that's mentorship in a bottle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, maybe I'm out to lunch on this one. Maybe it can't be that simple, but it
probably is.
It probably is. I mean, 240 years of evolution. Come on. We possess a skill set which is different. We want to do the sheepdog thing, yes, but we want to go out and we want to hunt. And this gives us the capability to go out and hunt. You know, I don't know. I'm like the sales biz dev guy when you're looking at like the corporate structure or whatever. So I'm the keep what you kill, want to get outside the building and go and talk with people guy. You guys know that.
No shit. Oh, I'm that guy too. For the most part.
So,
I stay in a hovel and ensure that no one speaks to me. Stay away.
Stay away, fuckers. Get away from me, fuckers.
Well, and it's not to say that Sebastian doesn't like getting outside the building. He just does not appreciate getting his fucking time wasted. Am I wrong in saying that?
Well, I'm a man of few words, and so I tend to try to say things that are important at all times, and I find most people, when they speak, it's just noise.
It's just bullshit, right?
Is it?
Blah, blah.
Am I an asshole?
Did he
fucking
just
Charlie Brown's teacher?
Did he just describe the first half hour of this podcast?
Yes, he said he basically called you an asshole, Mike, and that you talk too much, so, and that it's just nonsense. So fuck off.
It's not. So
I resemble all of those comments.
Zing. So now we all have our own roles. I mean, I tend to keep things in the theoretical space and innovative space, and that doesn't really require getting outside the doors unless I'm finding other innovators in other companies, in which case there's just like 3 or 4 and you're easy to identify.
Yeah.
So all right. So let's go back to like to our normal content. You ready, real quick here?
Absolutely.
I just watched this video on Facebook about what they're calling the dick switch. Let me explain what the dick switch is. The dick switch is a alternative to a vasectomy.
Right.
Where you literally can turn your sperm on and off. So they show these things where they have like these tubes running from the testes to wherever, but there's these like little flip switches on them that you like, manipulate.
It's your epididymis.
And turn your epididymis on or off.
Near your vas deferens.
Right, correct. Or actually what it is, there's 2 clamps on your vas def that on both of them, because there's 2.
Did you already shorten vas def, dude?
Oh yeah, vas deferens. It's because I have a vasectomy.
I'm totally flicking my.
I had a vasectomy done, but I did not get the dick switch because it didn't exist at that point. So this shit is crazy, and if you haven't seen it, go
Yeah,
check
but
it out on YouTube. Just type it into YouTube like everything else, the dick switch, and you're gonna freaking die. It's hysterical.
I think that there needs to be a spoiler alert here, though, by the way, that it's not as easy as flicking off a fucking light switch here. This is...
They're going to have a phone app pretty soon.
Right, exactly. A phone app.
Right.
This is...
Hey, make sure you turn it off.
No, Your Honor, she went on my phone and unlocked it.
That's what it is. It's like when your old lady's alarm clock goes off, everybody goes and takes their pill at the same time. I went to a New Year's party one time. Every woman in the place took their pill at 8 o'clock. All their cell phone alarms went off at the same time. It was hysterical. I'm like, oh, you guys on the pill, huh? And it's like 8 women at one party. I shit you not. It was awesome. But the thing is, though, is with the dick switch, it's not just like a lamp switch over here, okay? This is... I mean, it's first of all...
Oh, trust me, that's how they show it, though.
Right.
Kind of like that.
Right. But it is similar. If you're already familiar with an IUD,
yeah,
I mean, like, it's that route. And the reason why I say it like that is because fucking Ryan Schmeckatelli, who's booed as fuck right now, sitting in Camp Lejeune, don't think that you can get a dick switch, rock that fucker up to DC on a weekend, okay? First of all, you're going to be out of bounds. Secondly, all right, it's not just, oh, I got to flick my dick switch off and then I'm ready to rock. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's a procedure to be done. You can go... I was looking at this earlier tonight with my wife. You can go back and forth, though, I mean, with relative ease. Correct? On your dick switch?
Right. Yeah.
You tell me about...
So it seems.
So there's a...
I just say maybe you lean against it the wrong way and the sumbitch just goes off. You know what I mean?
What if it like collects in there and then like you unleash and like 14 pounds of it come out?
Yeah, maybe. Wow.
Elephantitis. You know what I mean?
Something. It just sounds all bad to me.
Yeah, let's
get it done, gentlemen. Either, have babies or don't. Just be done with it.
I don't know if I'll fuck with the plumbing like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's fine. It's,
Yeah, but I'm also thinking about, like, I would attend as a spectator sport a viewing of my buddy's vasectomy. Like in like the old-timey oval thing operating room for med students, a cooler of beer, your buddies, like baseball caps cocked up, like, oh, really sizzled on that one. Bennett, you're going to be fine down there, bud. No problem. He did not nick anything. It's going to be all right. Like, I would sell tickets and shit. There would be T-shirts. It's a memorable event. You're shutting it off. I want to, I want to include the boys in that when the boys are getting, barbecued, roasted. Would you do that? Would you invite your friends?
Hell no. Hell no.
Would you come? Would you come if I invited you, though?
Probably not. I'm like, nah, that shit's fucked up. No,
Juslin.
it's fucking crazy.
Is there glass in between?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well, that sucks. I mean, you got to be able to throw food.
Throw food. It's a sterile environment, you sick bastard.
Well, okay, fine. Have there be glass separating so you can throw it at his head.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Don't flinch.
Oh, dude. What is that?
I don't know.
What are we dealing with here?
What?
Do you hear that?
I do.
I hear nothing.
Man, that is some bad static in the background. Are you not hearing that, Juslin?
Not at all. You guys are coming in perfectly clear.
That's crazy. I apologize for the lull in the fight.
Definitely you, Michael.
The NSA wants in on this conversation. Is what it is.
NSA guys, Are you saying you want to watch Mike's balls get roasted? Is that what's happening here?
You honestly wouldn't go if I invited you. I would totally go to that shit.
You're a voyeur, though, so...
I'm not. Get the fuck out of here. You're a voyeur.
He's got his flashing, jacket, or...
An exhibitionist?
A voyeur, exhibitionist, vasectomer.
So I'm both a peeping...
This recording's going way downhill.
I'm a peeping Tom and a flasher. So at the beginning of the recording, doing the 5-paragraph business plan stuff. End of the recording.
Natural segue.
Peeping Tom and a flasher. Thanks, buddy.
Well, they got to get the full rounded spectrum of who Mike Penney is.
Jesus Christ. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you don't get any other fluff or bullshit in a podcast. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that you could get fluff out of a podcast. No, the conversation goes so long that you don't get the glossy veneer that you do on the local news of the entrepreneur who's trying to achieve, greatness or whatever. No, you get like what the guy's doing and then another 40 minutes of drivel about how his cat puked in his fucking sock drawer when he was a kid. That did not happen. I made that up entirely. But shit like that, just like real life shit comes out on podcasts.
Life happens.
You make me out to be some sort of weird flasher dude.
Because you are.
And then, no, I am not. What are you talking? No, I am not.
Have you or have you not strolled around Fob Invictus butt naked?
Okay.
Even the outside.
Lots and lots.
I tell you what, let me ask you one question before I answer this.
Okay.
Is this my domicile and property that I am alone on 20 acres of all day long? So before I answer that, 20 wooded acres all day long, before I answer this question, is this not my home and legal residence?
In a technical sense, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, I walk around the woods naked. It's not a big deal.
It's all good, America.
It's all good.
Kosher.
If you haven't already done so, America, go ahead, subscribe, rate, review the podcast. You can find us on Stitcher, iTunes, Player FM. There are a number of other aggregators that we're out there on. Our RSS feed finds its way out there, and I'm always looking for new avenues. So if you know of any, by all means, give us a shout. Please take a look at cigarsandseastories.com/5-paragraph business plan. You can also check it out on our resources page. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Counter-Strike Coffee, veteranslist.us, On It being one of them, Amazon, eBay, First Data. If you're a veteran that's out there right now, go ahead, get in touch with First Data. Tell them that Cigars and Sea sent you. You can enter in our code, or you can talk to them and just say, hey, the guys over at Cigars and Sea Stories told me that veterans get a serious discount if I do business with them. Check out Counter-Strike Coffee, get 10% off using coupon code Cigars and Sea. It's veteranslist.us. It's kind of like Angie's List, but it doesn't suck. You know what I mean? And it's all about veterans, and it's all free. And if you're a veteran who wants to list your business on there on a featured membership, you can get 50% off using coupon code Cigars and Sea. You will get a featured membership on there for 50% off using Cigars and Sea. Guys, you got anything else for these wonderful listeners out here?
I don't. I'm good.
All set.
Hope you guys have a happy new year. And, well, it's going to be like January 15th by the time this happens. But we love you all. Juslin, cue the music, my man.